Elon kind of took over Trump's little Resolute desk talking thing. He had more airtime, more words spoken. It was more of an Elon show than a Trump show. And Trump just sat there looking subservient and second place to Elon, who was running it.
Okay.
I wonder if Trump will start not liking those optics and do something.
I didn't watch it, but that was a Doge specific address, right? Like they were talking about Doge.
It turned into one. Was that what it was planned as? I don't even know.
Yeah.
If it is, it makes sense. He'd be doing most of the talking, but if not, I see where you're coming from.
The optics were bad though. I don't know if you watched it at all, but Trump was sitting there like looking old and melted while Elon's up there with his hands, looking autistic and frozen.
But he stuttered so much.
Yes. The thing about Doge is we need to be incredibly sure of what we're saying, what we're proud of stating it. And it's like, oh my God, dude. You and fucking RFK, like let's get somebody suave in there.
I want to see those two do who's on first.
What are you talking about? He's on second base.
No, you see his name is. They call him who.
You want to see them do who's on first? That would be very fun.
Who do they call who? What do you mean? I'm more of a basketball guy.
I'm more of a basketball.
Yeah, they're not great communicators, but luckily they're not in positions where they need to do a ton of communication.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, luckily Elon isn't like desperately in need of communication skills.
Yeah. Maybe he'll get one of those brain chips to help him at some point. You notice he's not volunteering for one of those.
That's the scariest thing Elon has ever suggested, to me at least, where he's like,
I like it.
Friends, implant this chip in your brain, and it'll improve your life. It's like, that's horrifying.
It's not as scary as it sounds.
It sounds pretty fucking scary.
Wait. Aren't like most of the experimental monkeys dead who tried it?
Well, most is an interesting word.
Yeah. That didn't stop the COVID shots.
Yeah, it is an interesting word. It's a telling word.
A couple of them are absolute geniuses now, though. A couple of them are,
let's see what the odds are of surviving a Neuralink monkey experiment. I'm guessing that most of them died. But here's my thought process on that. I don't think that they're like, oh no, they died. I think like, yeah, turns out when we turn it up to 11, then they died. Don't do that again. I feel like it's monkey trials so that bad things don't happen to humans. So you're going to break those eggs to make your omelet. And it's not like when I hear they're going to put a thing in your brain, I think in the like a brain tumor, like they're drilling into my brain tissue and it's going way deep in there. They're taking the top off your skull, just drilling a little in so they can see the top of your brain. All right. No big deal.
So far, yeah, it's like doing weekends.
Yeah. It's not a big deal. We could do that in your garage and you'd be fine. They used to do it in olden times and people survived it all the time. You can see where people healed from.
Did they all survive it?
More than would have survived the hematomas that were causing the brain pressure. It was a life-saving technique. It still performed today. They drill a fucking hole in your head to remove the pressure. So
where you led with it, it sounded like a hobby.
I'm into it. I like to drill.
You're gonna have a bald spot because you're gonna let Elon put a fucking Tesla chip in your head?
No, they peel the scalp back. They drill the bone out. They put this thing that looks like a watch battery that has wires in it. They put those wires into your brain tissue. The watch battery sits on top of your brain, and then they put your skull back over it, probably, or some cap. They used to use gold coins back or silver coins back in the day to cap that. They drill holes in the edges, and they just tack them to your skull, and you'd be good sometimes. But it's not like they can pop it right back out if they need to, and it's not like they're putting it into like tech.
Yeah, but what if Mossad gets a hold of the shipment and puts fucking plastic explosive in your chip?
The Ukrainians did that. The Ukrainians did that with goggles in Russia. Did you hear that story?
I saw a clip of a Russian guy taking it apart and showing. So I guess they investigated and found, or at least that guy did.
Yeah, the goggles that you wear to control drones, like the really common one, I don't remember the brand name, but they're about $250, $300 or something. I think they're pretty good. And so a whole shipment of those had C4 in them. So when the Russian drone operators went to operate their drones, their heads exploded.
Damn.
We should probably have more manufacturing at home if this is becoming a thing.
I'm not too worried about it.
I don't want to get blowed up.
Who's going to blow you up?
Someone who's fucking mad.
Like in Helen Keller Museum or something?
I just imagine them being
he has to be silenced.
First of all, the goggles don't fit. And if they did, it wouldn't penetrate the skull on this one.
I get them, glasses don't fit. Throw it away. My garbage can explodes later. Yeah. But I don't see any benefits to having a Neuralink, implanting a chip in your brain.
Okay, that's where I was going to say. So
can't he like drive people's Teslas to like the police station?
That's not what they're doing. So they're not the point isn't to put it in some tech bro so we can run a smart house. The idea is that someone who is paralyzed from the neck down can operate their wheelchair or play a video game or any number of things to give them. And once their brain has been trained on that device and there's some sort of software to interpret all the inputs that it's receiving from your brain tissue, you can interpret those into maybe some kind of midway point that'll let them operate their legs and arms again. Because our body's just an electromagnetic machine. Our muscles move because we send electricity to them.
My legs are fine. But what if 18 months from now I show up on the show with a mysterious bald spot and challenge
Hey guys, what's up?
Challenge Taylor to a spelling bee for no reason. You'll know the Neuralink is good.
It's like on your
first word is anachrony. I think he gave up too much for the spelling.
That'd be great, dude. That would be like me versus.
It had other functions.
I'm sorry, what'd you
calculator.
I say it'd be like me versus Deep Blue.
Yeah.
I have to outspell Deep Blue. Ooh, that'd be tough. But yeah, I don't. Unless the paralyzed thing, that's actually very compelling. If I'm all paralyzed up,
they did it.
Then I'm gonna have my handler wheel me there. They're gonna crack my head open, fix it. But unless I'm paralyzed, I'm not gonna trifle with that. It can only go poorly. Like, what could it possibly offer me better if I'm not paralyzed?
Your body benefits more from lifting weights than it did previously.
Well,
that's a terrible trade-off.
I was trying to hit you in your soft spot.
Yeah. If I'd do a lot of steroids before I died. I'd put a chip in my brain. That'd be bananas.
I mean, if you can if you had a chip in there that could mess with your brain inputs, so you could augment your senses maybe eventually. Maybe you could have a sensor behind your ear that picks up sound and it sends that signal to your Neuralink chip and it interprets it into sound and it gives it to your brain. You could have
an ear of sorts.
No, but like a super ear of sorts. You could hear like a dog. You could have dog ears.
I could have dog. I can already hear dogs.
Taylor's not old enough to recognize.
What about hearing dogs? I hear like a dog.
The $6 million man, right? This bionic man from the 70s who could run faster. That's what we're talking about.
I said years ago that they should make a show called The $6 Million Man Again, but because of inflation, he's really fucked up.
He's terrible.
Please kill me.
Well, we're making him out of 16 Pentagon coffee cups, and we ran out of budget.
Steve Rogers, the $6 million man who begs for death every day. We brought it back from the brink of life. We didn't make him faster or stronger or faster.
Yeah.
What do they say? Stronger, faster,
$1
better than
million. It's like,
that's what I was
in the time you've been in there, inflation is $1 million isn't what it used to be. I think they laugh at his 1 billion request. Man, those movies are great. I need to rewatch all the Austin Powers. Or maybe they just happened exactly at the right time in my life because I remember dying laughing watching as I remember uproarious gut laughing every time Fat Bastard was about to fight Austin Powers and he's standing there in the bathhouse and he's like, I sure hope my wire team is ready. And then he runs and jumps and it's clearly a wire team holding him up.
If you watch this movie, it happened, it's 94 or something. So maybe 5 years before Austin Powers or so. And this is Mike Myers honing his skills and his characters a little bit. Some of them are from SNL, but this is a movie where he thinks he might have married an axe murderer. He's not really sure. And, but he does lots of characters. He also plays his father. So he does dual roles as a Scottish father. And his Scottish father is always ripping on Mike Myers' little brother because his head's enormous. He calls him Head. It's very funny.
He's a red charming. Afro.
Huge. Yeah. It's very funny. It's very charming. It's very sweet. And you get to see Mike Myers actually act as Mike Myers. And you also get to see oh shit, he's been doing that Shrek voice, that Dr. Evil voice, that all those voices for the fat bastard voice is his father. That's his Scottish voice. So you can see him doing those accents in there, and it's real good. And he's young in there too. He looks weird these days.
So I Married an Axe Murderer is really good. I saw that movie when it came out in a theater, and I went into it having been convinced against my will. I don't know what I wanted to see, but it was something else. And it completely turned me around. It was good enough that even sour Woody was like, okay, I was wrong. That was dope.
This is a good movie. I haven't even heard of that one. I'll have to check it out.
Really? Oh,
yeah. Married an Axe Murderer. One of the few good things you mentioned, Shrek. Like, I think the only positive that came out of Chris Farley's death was getting Mike Myers as Shrek instead of Chris Farley. Because I do like that accent Mike Myers does. That's just perfect. That's perfect for Shrek. Love the other guy, but it wouldn't have been the same.